ACQ lumber, treated with alkaline copper quaternary, can be corrosive to metal over time, especially when moisture is present. Therefore, insulating the metal electrical panel from the ACQ lumber is highly recommended. Firstly, ACQ lumber contains copper, and this copper can react with the metal panel, resulting in corrosion. This corrosion process can weaken the panel over time and consequently reduce its overall lifespan and structural integrity. Secondly, even though ACQ lumber is a weak electrical conductor, direct contact between the lumber and the metal panel can create a pathway for electrical current. This situation elevates the risk of electrical shock or even fire hazards. Thirdly, the space that is present between the panel and the lumber can trap moisture, which accelerates corrosion and leads to damage to both the panel and the lumber. To effectively insulate the panel from the lumber, use a non-conductive material. Suitable materials include plastic or rubber. Cut strips of the chosen material and carefully place them between the panel and the wood framing to create a barrier. Alternatively, you can use non-conductive washers or spacers around the lag bolts to isolate the metal panel from the wood. It is important to address this issue in a timely manner to prevent long-term damage to the electrical panel. Prompt action will ensure the safety and reliability of the electrical system. When installing or inspecting electrical panels mounted on ACQ lumber, always prioritize safety and follow best practices to mitigate the risks associated with corrosion and electrical conductivity. Ignoring these precautions can lead to significant problems down the line. Consider the potential for galvanic corrosion, where dissimilar metals in contact with an electrolyte, such as moisture-containing salts from the ACQ treatment, can create an electrochemical reaction. This reaction accelerates the corrosion of one metal, in this case, the metal panel. Properly insulating the panel breaks this electrochemical pathway, minimizing the risk of corrosion. Moreover, ensure that all electrical connections are properly tightened and protected from moisture. Loose connections can create hot spots and increase the risk of electrical fires. Regularly inspect the panel and surrounding lumber for signs of corrosion or damage. Look for discoloration, pitting, or rust on the metal panel, and check the lumber for signs of rot or decay. If you notice any of these issues, take immediate action to repair or replace the affected components. In addition to insulating the panel, consider using corrosion-resistant hardware, such as stainless steel screws and washers. Stainless steel is less susceptible to corrosion than other metals, which can help to extend the lifespan of the electrical system. Also, ensure that the panel is properly grounded to provide a safe path for electrical current in the event of a fault. A properly grounded panel can help to prevent electrical shocks and fires. Follow the guidelines in the National Electrical Code, or NEC, which provides detailed requirements for grounding electrical systems. In particular, refer to NEC sections 250.4, A1 250.4, A5 250.24, A and 250.28 for information on grounding electrical panels. Furthermore, consider the environment in which the electrical panel is installed. If the panel is located in a damp or humid environment, it may be more susceptible to corrosion. In such cases, it may be necessary to take additional precautions, such as applying a protective coating to the panel or installing a dehumidifier to reduce the moisture level. Always consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns about the safety of your electrical system. A qualified electrician can assess the situation and recommend the best course of action to ensure that the system is safe and reliable. When selecting insulation materials, choose products that are specifically designed for electrical applications. These materials are typically non-conductive and resistant to moisture and heat. Avoid using materials that may break down over time or release harmful chemicals. Regularly inspect the insulation for signs of damage or deterioration. Replace any damaged insulation immediately to maintain its effectiveness. Consider the thermal expansion and contraction of the metal panel and the lumber. Temperature changes can cause these materials to expand and contract at different rates, which can create stress on the connections. Use flexible connectors or expansion joints to accommodate these movements and prevent damage. Ensure that the electrical panel is properly sized for the load it will be serving. Overloaded panels can overheat and create a fire hazard. Consult with a qualified electrician to determine the appropriate size panel for your needs. When working with electrical systems, always follow safe work practices. To energize the circuit before working on any components, use appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and eye protection. Never work on electrical systems while standing in water or on a wet surface. Keep the area around the electrical panel clear of clutter and obstructions. This will help to prevent accidents and make it easier to access the panel for maintenance and repairs. Clearly label all circuits and components in the electrical panel. This will help to prevent confusion and make it easier to troubleshoot problems. Use a permanent marker or label maker to create clear and legible labels. Keep a record of all electrical work that is performed on the system. This record should include the date of the work, the name of the electrician who performed the work, and a description of the work that was performed. This record can be helpful for troubleshooting problems in the future. Consider installing a surge protector to protect the electrical system from voltage spikes. Voltage spikes can damage sensitive electronic equipment and create a fire hazard. A surge protector can help to absorb these spikes and protect the system. Regularly test the ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, in the electrical system. GFCIs are designed to protect people from electrical shocks. They should be tested monthly to ensure that they are working properly. To test a GFCI, press the test button on the device. The GFCI should trip and cut off power to the circuit. If the GFCI does not trip, it should be replaced immediately. When replacing electrical components, use only parts that are approved for use in electrical systems. These parts have been tested and certified to meet safety standards. Avoid using generic or unapproved parts, as they may not be safe to use. Keep the electrical panel clean and free of dust and debris. Dust and debris can accumulate inside the panel and create a fire hazard. Use a vacuum cleaner or a soft brush to clean the panel regularly. Be careful not to damage any of the components inside the panel. Consider having the electrical system inspected by a qualified electrician on a regular basis. An electrical inspection can help to identify potential problems before they become serious. The electrician can also provide recommendations for improving the safety and efficiency of the system. When making changes to the electrical system, always obtain the necessary permits from the local building department. This will ensure that the work is done in accordance with local codes and regulations. Keep a copy of the electrical plans for the building on file. These plans can be helpful for troubleshooting problems and making future changes to the system. Familiarize yourself with the basics of electrical safety. This knowledge can help you to avoid accidents and injuries. Take a class on electrical safety or read a book on the subject. Be aware of the potential hazards associated with electricity and take steps to protect yourself. When working with electrical tools, use only tools that are in good condition. Damaged or worn tools can be dangerous to use. Inspect tools regularly for signs of damage and replace them as needed. Use insulated tools when working with electricity. Insulated tools can help to protect you from electrical shocks. Wear appropriate clothing when working with electricity. Avoid wearing loose clothing or jewelry that could get caught in electrical equipment. Wear rubber-soled shoes to help insulate you from the ground. Be aware of the location of underground utilities before digging. Contact the local utility companies to locate underground utilities before digging. Digging near underground utilities can be dangerous and can cause damage to the utilities. Never overload electrical circuits. Overloading circuits can create a fire hazard. Use a circuit breaker finder to identify circuits and avoid overloading them. Be careful when using extension cords. Extension cords can be a fire hazard if they are not used properly. Do not overload extension cords and do not run them under rugs or furniture. Inspect extension cords regularly for signs of damage and replace them as needed. Never tamper with electrical meters. Tampering with electrical meters is illegal and can be dangerous. If you suspect that your electrical meter is not working properly, contact the utility company. Be aware of the signs of electrical problems. Some signs of electrical problems include flickering lights, burning smells, and sparking outlets. If you notice any of these signs, contact a qualified electrician immediately. Educate children about electrical safety. Teach children about the dangers of electricity and how to avoid electrical shocks. Keep electrical outlets covered when they are not in use. If you are unsure about any aspect of electrical safety, contact a qualified electrician. A qualified electrician can answer your questions and provide guidance on how to stay safe around electricity. Consider using arc fault circuit interrupters, or ACCs, in the electrical system. ACCs are designed to protect against electrical fires caused by arc faults. An arc fault is an unintentional electrical discharge that can occur when wires are damaged or loose. ACCs can detect arc faults and shut off power to the circuit before a fire starts. ACCs are required in many new homes and are recommended for all homes. Ensure that all electrical work is performed by a qualified electrician. A qualified electrician has the knowledge and experience to perform electrical work safely and in accordance with local codes and regulations. Do not attempt to perform electrical work yourself unless you are properly trained. Consider installing a whole house surge protector. A whole house surge protector can protect the entire electrical system from voltage spikes. This can be a good investment if you have sensitive electronic equipment in your home. Regularly check the smoke detectors in the home. Smoke detectors are designed to alert you to a fire. They should be tested monthly to ensure that they are working properly. Replace the batteries in the smoke detectors at least once a year. Consider installing carbon monoxide detectors in the home. Carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless gas that can be deadly. Carbon monoxide detectors can alert you to the presence of carbon monoxide in the home. They should be tested monthly to ensure that they are working properly. Replace the batteries in the carbon monoxide detectors at least once a year. Be aware of the potential for electrical hazards during storms. During storms, power lines can fall down and create a dangerous situation. Stay away from downed power lines and report them to the utility company. Do not use electrical appliances during a thunderstorm. Unplug electrical appliances during a thunderstorm to protect them from voltage spikes. Consider installing a lightning protection system. A lightning protection system can protect the home from lightning strikes. This can be a good investment if you live in an area that is prone to lightning strikes. Be aware of the potential for electrical hazards during flooding. Floodwater can conduct electricity and create a dangerous situation. Turn off the power to the home if it is flooding. Do not enter floodwater if the power is on. Contact a qualified electrician to inspect the electrical system after a flood. In summary, addressing the potential corrosion issues between metal electrical panels and ACQ lumber requires careful attention to detail and adherence to best practices. Proper insulation, corrosion-resistant hardware, and regular inspections are essential for ensuring the safety and longevity of your electrical system. Consulting with a qualified electrician is always recommended to address any specific concerns or questions. The information provided serves as a general guideline and should not be considered a substitute for professional electrical advice. Always prioritize safety and follow all applicable codes and regulations when working with electrical systems.